easing compliance headaches, how to stop end user mistakes from causing non-compliance. Frankly, gives me a headache just thinking about the potential of non-compliance.
So I'm not gonna sit and read these slides to you, and really a large portion of really what the webinar focuses on is the end users. And it doesn't necessarily need to be malicious intent on the end user side. Most of the time it's really a mistake. It says, geez, I was just trying to get my job done in the most efficient way, and there was a mistake made. A personal story for you, my mother-in-law works for a healthcare organization. I won't mention which one, but she works for a healthcare organization, and the lead of HR, the VP of HR in that organization, was contacted by an auditor. And that auditor explained to him that, hey, we're doing an audit on your HIPAA practices. I need for you to send me all of your employees' information. And without confirmation, without back checking or anything else, that HR VP just asked for an email address and sent all of the employees' personal information, social security numbers, health record information, etc., out to this so-called auditor. Unfortunately, it wasn't an auditor. That person was doing a social engineering hack. And now that company is not only paying for credit protection services and all sorts of education to employees now, but they're also putting in additional controls. And you may say, geez, those additional controls, that education should have been there already. Well, HIPAA requires it. They were doing it. The problem is that education kind of wears off. And I am sure, Felix, you've got some personal anecdotes in there as well. If you wouldn't mind sharing one or two, I'm sure you'd enjoy that.
Sure. You know, when I think about compliance or breaches, my mind immediately goes to those that occur within an organization, really born out of no malice, but just an average person trying to do their daily duties, and through some keystroke error or because of a press timeline, sort of just made a mistake. And so, you know, I'm reminded of an instance in which keystroke error added the wrong person to an email line on a payroll file that had not only sensitive information about individual employees, but you know, things related to their compensation, which you generally don't want to have a public conversation about. A valued, you know, tenured employee who had really never made this mistake in the past, but it turned out to be one of those things where we didn't have the right process in place. The person was trying to do the very best thing, hit send to a file, and put in motion a series of actions that you can't take back, right? It's sort of the nail in the fence. You could pull that nail out, but the hole is still there. And so effectively, we spent months trying to sort of undo what was done effectively with one keystroke. And so what you'll hear from me later on is compliance in the context of how we create systems that protect our people, our valued employees that are just trying to work diligently, in addition to what Brady's going to talk about, which is more around what happens on larger scale breaches and how compliance plays a role in that.
Yeah, absolutely. It always, it reminds me of, I've gotten emails before, and you get that next email that says, so-and-so would like to recall the email they just sent. I'm not sure I've ever clicked on, yep, let them recall that email, right? It usually makes you look even more at that email that they sent, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, it's almost an alert. I should look at it now.
Yeah, exactly.